Hello, Asya.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Asya,
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
you
Hello.
ready for the task?
आवाज मेरी you can hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you, Asya. You're clearly
Yeah.
audible.
Yeah.
Okay, Asya, this is your task,
Okay.
and you have 2 minutes
Okay.
for the reading time. There is one more slide, and then 10 minutes for the performance. Okay.
Elena, sorry, the short question, little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
if
Yes.
during exam that asking for the hysterectomy, so
Mm-hmm.
as a ST ST3 or ST5, so during exam we cannot say that I'll do that for hysterectomy. It should be I can supervise with the consultant, isn't it? If there is
No,
a
hysterectomy should be done by the consultant. You're not going to do
consultant.
hysterectomy. Only, you know what, in UK, they separate, like the obstetricians are separate and the gynecologists are separate. So obstetrician are not allowed to do, consultant obstetrician are not allowed to do hysterectomy. They have to call the gynecologist for that, consultant gynecologist.
Yeah, for
You get my
during
point.
exam. Yeah. So during
Okay?
exam, I'm telling that during exam, so I have to, I cannot say that yes, for the hysterectomy, if there is any, case for hysterectomy. So I
Mm-hmm.
cannot say that I'll do this, if there is any hysterectomy
No,
procedure.
it's against patient safety. You can say I will take the
Yeah,
consent and I will explain each and everything with benefits and the complication, but I'm going to inform my consultant and the consultant is going to do that. The
yes,
hysterectomy, I have explained everything in the form of a table. That is not the hysterectomy, the complex laparoscopies and management of ectopic pregnancy, laparoscopic management of ectopic pregnancy. You are not going to do that. These are the job of consultant.
yeah,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
what we do is in UK, even you know what we, it's not like hard and fast rule. Even FTC can do laparoscopies, but it would be under the direct supervision of the consultant. If the
Yes,
consultant allows you to do so, you can do that procedure. But all
yes,
responsibility would put under the head of the under the on the shoulder of the consultant, and GMC is going to ask from the consultant. This was your
yes,
job to do so, and you have given
yeah,
that procedure to your junior, so you are the responsible one. Okay, this is something I have shown you is ideal, every way where the things are not like the ideal way.
yes,
Okay,
thank you
so
very
this
much.
is what the ideal, this is what the criteria of GMC, this is what the criteria of RCUG, this is what expect from you in the exam. You want to be
Yeah,
safe all time, you have to be very, very safe.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you to
Thank
listen
you.
you after a long time. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. You can ask any question anytime. Okay, Asya, you have one more slide. Okay.
Dr. Lina, can I see the second slide?
Yeah, this is the second slide.
Okay.
Okay, let me know when you will be ready. Shall we start now or you want to take 1 minute more?
Okay. Yes. Just 1 minute.
Okay, so can you please summarize the case and what further information you want for this lady?
Okay. Hello.
Ma'am, can
Yeah,
we see the previous slide, please?
Hello, I'm Dr. Asya. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will start. Hello, I'm Dr. Asya, one of the candidates for MRCG Part 3, and I'm ready for structured discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question that what information I want to take from this woman, because this patient, she came presented with abdominal pain. So I want to know about her about the pain history since when she has this pain and where this pain is located, because it will give me the idea it is loin pain. So I will think for like pyelonephritis or urine tract infection, or she has a pain in her generalized abdominal pain. So and also what is the severity of this pain, and also if this pain is radiating or no, and what increase the pain, that anything increase the pain, or what treatment she has taken till now. So regarding, I want to know about her. She complained of fever, so I want to know when she started this fever, and about her blood stained urine, because mentioned here that she present with urine decreased urine output and watery vaginal loss. So I want to know that when this symptom started, and how was her surgery. I want to review her notes with her permission, and someone has talked to her that it was difficult surgery or no. And also I want to know about her that she has done previously. I can see laparoscopy was done for her. And also I want to rule out any drug allergy because she may need medication. So this is information I want to take from this patient. And also what treatment she has taken till now, because she has been given any pain relief right now. Otherwise, I will offer her pain relief after drug allergy, excluding the allergy and contraindication. And I need to do examination, and I can see here the examination has been given that vital sign. And from this new chart, that she has having temperature, and she has blood pressure is diastolic is because her diastolic blood pressure is 99, and she has tachycardia, and respiratory rate is 24. So from this and decreased urine output. So this patient need I want to do and also I want to do her examination that is there any tenderness, acute abdominal or no, is because I will suspect peritonitis, and I want to listen her bowel sound because it can present with the paralytic ileus, and she has localized tenderness in loin areas, so it will, I think, for this pyelonephritis. And so in the information, I want to arrange some tests for her. First of all, I want to do full blood count to see that there is WBC and C reactive protein to rule out infection, and also to do kidney function test for her liver function, kidney function status, and also urine for midstream urine to rule out infection, and also urine culture, and arrange this radiology for her to do this renal scan for this any pus collection is inside, or this like if inside maybe this urinoma, fluid collection is inside, and also there is hydronephrosis. And she needs some imaging like the IVU and CTU pyelogram to rule out this urotype injury. So this is my information gathering.
Okay, so you have discussed this case with the radiologist, and on the scan they are suspecting the urinary tract injury. Okay, so what preventive measure you can take intraoperatively to prevent urinary tract injury before laparoscopy? Like, what preventive steps you can take during laparoscopy?
Yeah, so to prevent the preoperative ureteric injury, so it depends. It will start from the identification of the risk factors. Like in this case, I can see that this patient is. I want to see the BMI of this patient because increased BMI is one of the risk factor, and I can see she has previous to laparoscopy. So it also increases the risk of having difficult surgery and possibility of urinary tract injury or bowel injury. So I will identify the risk factor in her history, and also endometriosis itself is a risk factor. So in this case, to prevent this injury, because it will be the difficult surgery, so it will be involved by the to be done by the consultant, and also we can involve the urologist from the start, and in some case, even this surgery can be done in the tertiary centers, and also we can do some like pre-operative this is stenting, ureter identification and stenting. It will be primary prevention and secondary prevention. This one pre-operative.
Okay, and what about intraoperative? How you can recognize like this is the urinary tract injury intraoperatively and then postoperatively?
Intraoperatively, it will be identified like first of all when we will doing this laparoscopy.
Importance to see to the careful examination of the pelvic area, and also to do the identification of the ureter, and also to do this careful tissue handling and good hemostasis, and also like mobilization of the bladder. It will be done with the cotton this swab because when we will mobilize the bladder away from the site of the surgery, so it will move away the ureter. And also it will be done sharp dissection rather than the blunt, and also there is and we can consider subtotal hysterectomy in case, but not in this patient, but generally like a subtotal or rather than the total hysterectomy. So, and also this will involve the concerned if any suspicious to early involvement of the urologist. And you
Okay,
said
so-
also asked about post-operative.
Yeah, post-operatively, how you can recognize like this is urinary tract injury.
Okay. So post-operatively, we will see the recovery of the patient, how she's recovering. Because if she's recovering well, so it means she is doing well. But if she suspect her recovery is delayed, like if she present with a fever or she urine output is decreased, or it depends on the immediate
recognition, because 30% we can identify only intraoperative and 70% is diagnosed post-operatively. So post-operatively, we will see the patient about the vital sign in the immediate recovery period. Is there any hypotension, tachycardia, or how is her urine output? And if there is drain, also like intraoperatively, we can put drain if difficult surgery. So we will see how much in the drain this collection, or how is the urine output? Is there any hematuria or decreased urine output? And late, it can present even late presentation, like in case of diathermy injury. So patient can present with the loin pain, anuria, or fever. So this is we can suspect post-operative.
Okay, so this patient is suspect to have a ureteric injury. So how you are going to manage this lady now?
Okay, we suspect ureteric injury. So first of all, it will be multidisciplinary team here, and first of all, I will explain the woman that, and also the family members, that we are suspecting the this ureteric injury. So she will be explained. I will involve my consultant, and I will inform the urologist and anesthesia doctor, so it will be multidisciplinary team, and so it depends on the site of the injury. What is the injury it is either it is avulsion or transection. So it will be depend on the result of the investigation and imaging. So, and also depend on the site of the injury. Either it is the upper one third
It's
of
a
the
cross-section
injury,
injury. We are suspecting a cross-section. We are suspecting a cross-section injury in the lower part of the ureter.
Yeah, because it is the lower part of the ureter, so it means because this one, because there is a gap between the ureter and the bladder.
It will be filled by this sauce, most usually done by the sauce hitch or the body flap. So this will be done by the urologist, but usually like this is the management. And also because post-operative during this patient receive antibiotic for 24 hours, and the catheter will be inserted for 7 days, and also after depend on the urologist, they will explain help us how long this patient needs ureter catheter, and also this patient need drain, ureteroperitoneal drain will be inserted. It can be removed after 48 hours, depend on how the patient is recovering, and patient may need stent, and it will be put up to 4 to 6 weeks. And later, when at the time of discharge, patient will be advised how to take care of the catheter, and continence nurse can explain her, and also she will give follow-up appointment with the urologist that may need IVU at 3 to 6 months. This one.
Okay, so this patient is like this case needs a entrance into the risk register. So now the risk management team has planned to do the risk management. Okay, so how you are going to do the risk management in this case?
So first of all, risk management part is first of all this is the one is the documentation, all the events and debriefment to the woman and family members, and we will inform the incident reporting, and inform the risk management team. So risk management team will decide, they will make a team. They will see the like it can be done as a part of audit, or they will do like what went wrong. So they will identify that this happened event. So they will do investigation. So they will involve the staff who are involved in the patient care, and they will take interview, and they will take the data collection, and so they will get all the information retrospectively, and then they will they will put like in audit we are doing. So and who are involved in the care, the person who did the surgery done by either consultant or who are the expertise, what is her competency level. So they will identify all this, that all this information, like risk identification and risk analysis evaluation, and also by the then the all the, whatever the result will be got information, it will be discussed in a multidisciplinary team, which involve the like consultant or the person who are involved, a radiologist or a urologist. So they will make a plan, and they will decide either it will be audit will be done to see it has been any improvement has been done or what we can avoid, and we will explain the woman about the apology, duty of candor, and what the result of the risk management team. It will be discussed with the woman, and I mean, to be honest,
Thank
what
you.
happened to her and all
Mhm.
this.
Okay, thank you so much, Asriya. Thank you so much. It's time to give feedback. So give feedback to yourself first. What do you say? What went well? What could have gone better today?
In the information, I think some maybe I missed some points.
No, you were perfect in the information gathering. Just few points, but I will explain you later on. But overall, you were excellent in the information gathering.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
And like in the how to manage her. So in this case, I can mention about the post-operative care, that this patient need neo-start monitoring, high dependency unit, and input-output chart and VT assessment.
Yeah, exactly.
Analgesia.
You know
and
what, Asriya, you have explained the management from the side of urologist. This is not expect from your end. This is the job of urologist. Let them do their job. They are the one who have to decide about either this patient need, like what sort of surgery, what sort of post-op management plan after the ureteric repair. It should be from the side of urologist. It's not your job. It's not your job at all. Your job is to play the duty of candor, explain her, debrief her, what happened. Okay, and your job is to give her IV antibiotic. Your job is to give her analgesia. Your job is to admit her in the HTU or ITU. This lady required an admission to ITU. This is your job. Okay, and you have to escalate to your consultant. Even you have to ask from the urologist, what's your plan? What you require from our side? Okay, then you have to follow all that pre-operative order, and then the urologist will plan, okay, shift the patient straight away to the theater and we will come, or either they will say, okay, shift the patient to urology ward and then we will shift the patient, we will transfer the patient to the theater, something like that. Okay, don't talk about Burari's flap, don't talk about reanastomosis, nothing. This is not your job. This is not expected from your end.
But if you if you ask if there is transection and it is lower part of the ureter, so I think this is the answer for this question.
See, I asked you the question how you are going to manage her. This is I asked you about you. I haven't asked about the ideal management. The ideal management is the same that you explained, but I'm not going to give you the mark for these things. This is the job of urology. This is not the exam of urology, to be honest.
I want to add one thing with your permission, Dr. Reena, that when somebody is asking you that how you are going to do anything, it means the you, Dr. Asriya, as a ST5, okay, not you as a urologist. All right. So what you do in any of the complication, you will stop there and then you will call for help. You will call whom? Then you will call that I will call my senior. I will ask the anesthetist to do this. I will do take help from other as well. All right. So this happens this way. It's not like that you will do the body flap and you will. That is the specific management. Okay, if somebody asks you that what is the specific management for any ureteric injury?
No, she haven't said that she will do that. She
I mentioned
urologist
that,
will do. But like, if you could explain about these sorts of things, this is the correct management. Okay, but you are going to gain the marks only in perspective of patient safety. Only that. I will show you in the form of my template. One moment. What information you want for this lady? I explained about detail of symptomology excellently, severity of pain site, location, radiation, and aggravating factor, relieving factor, everything, timing. Important thing is feeling unwell. Is this lady feeling unwell after the surgery? Eating, drinking, nausea, vomiting? How much amount of urine she passed? When it had changed in the color? Symptoms of urinary tract infection. Sometimes there could be hematuria because of the UTI, incontinence. Okay. History of abdominal distension is very important. Maybe there would be some collection. Maybe there would be some collection, some blood collection, some like urine collection inside the abdomen. Input-output charting, which is important. Past medical surgical history, I explained it really very well. History of allergy, sport at home. Okay, so as if you all can see here in the task, I have mentioned about that the surgery is because of endometriosis. So do ask about the findings, the MRI findings, do check, because what we do is whenever such patient presents with the post-operative complication, we immediately check on our system, on online system, their results, their MRI findings, their laparoscopic findings. You know what, there is basically the pictures, you can see the photos, you can see the videos of that surgery even. I'm not saying that you have to go through all of these stuff, but you can say that I will check the photos, I will check the videos. There would be small video there with the name of the patient in the system to have an idea about the complexity of the procedure. Okay, because when you are going to escalate to your consultant is going to ask, have you checked the photos? Have you checked the videos? What sort of surgery was that? What was the it was a complicated surgery? Okay, so you have to be well aware about, you should have a knowledge about each and every aspect of the surgery before talking to the consultant. Okay, endometriosis management MTD plan. This is very, very important, everyone, because every patient who has a second or third surgery because of endometriosis, that patient need a plan. So there should be a plan in the notes. Detailed post-operative notes, entry technique, which technique was used, site of entry port, extent of surgery, intraoperative complication, photo, videos, and the post-operative management plan. Okay, so this is all about the history, like from the history of the patient or from the notes, the information that we require. Another thing I just want to tell you people that once you start the structure viva, if you have some of the information, as Asi explained, like about the information which is available and summarize the findings, first of all, do tell the examiner about your working diagnosis. You can say that, okay, so this patient, she is having a laparoscopy for endometriosis and she had 3 previous cesarean sections. She had laparoscopy yesterday. She had 2 laparoscopies in the past. So this patient is a very, very high risk of adherence. So my working diagnosis could be, it can be a bladder injury, it can be ureteric injury, it can be a paralytic ileus even, or it can be some intraoperative, postoperative hemorrhage. It can be a hemorrhage even. The hemorrhage, the patient with the hemorrhage, they can present with fever, they can present with the blood-stained urine because of DIC, they can present with the reduced urine output even. So do tell your working diagnosis. These are my working diagnoses, and in the further information, I want to know about this, to establish my provisional or to establish my confirmatory diagnosis. Okay, so examination, because I want to repeat
one question.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I mean, we will talk about differential diagnosis in the start or after taking information gathering.
If you have a sufficient history, on the base of the history, you can say after summarizing the findings, okay, the information which is available, according to that, this lady, this is her 3rd surgery. Yesterday she had laparoscopy. She had 2 laparoscopies in the past. She's previous 3 cesarean sections. She's a very, very high risk of adherence. So the presenting complaint is a pain, reduced urine output, hematuria, vaginal loss. So my working diagnoses are this. Okay, and to confirm the diagnosis, I want these sort of things in information gathering and examination and investigation to reach to my confirmatory diagnosis. Okay, hello, so there is always a difference. Okay. Yeah, there is always a difference between an average candidate and an excellent candidate. I want you people to be an excellent candidate. Okay, hello, so yeah, the aim of information that is provided at the start of the task is just to help you people to make some differentials in your mind. And once you ask about these sort of the questions, then examiner will have an idea that this lady knows where she stands. Okay, so in examination, repeat, new, start, if you can say here, see here, sorry, like this. What is the score? I say you haven't mentioned about the score. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 score. Whenever the score is less than 6, the patient required continuous monitoring in HTU. Okay, so we should put the patient on the monitor to measure or to monitor the oxygen saturation, pain, blood pressure, temperature, all sort of vitals. Sorry. Okay, so repeat news chart or put her on the monitor. I want to check either she's pale or not. And Asya, do on abdominal examination, do check her wound site. Do check either she is having any ascites or not. You have mentioned about the tenderness, very good guarding, loin tenderness, everything. Arrange bedside scan to check the post-void bladder volume, because maybe this lady is having some urinary retention because she's passing a very small amount of urine. Okay. So investigation, you have mentioned about FBC, excellent, Asya, like what you want to see in FBC, hemoglobin, WBC count, CRP, these are the inflammatory markers, RFTs, and do compare with the pre-op RFTs. Sometimes you can see that RFTs are normal, but you don't know about the baseline. So compare with the pre-operative RFTs as well. Serum electrolytes, urine dipstick, midstream urine culture and sensitivity, ultrasound abdomen, KUB. As you have mentioned about that, you can even mention about I want CT AP plus urogram, depends upon the history. Okay, depends upon the information. If I could get the information that I want, so depending upon that, depending upon the investigation finding and initial investigation, I want to go for the CT AP plus urogram after discussion with my consultant.
Hello, Dr.
Thank you,
Anil.
Yes.
In the history, as you mentioned, we have to first of all ask from the patient. So we will say the examiner, we will ask from the patient regarding the pain, where is the pain, are feeling well, are in addition, we will say the examiner, we will review her notes. In that we will see the endometriosis, what type, what was the surgery. That we will say the examiner, we will see from the notes, correct?
No, this definitely we're going to see MRI finding, these all we are going to see from the notes.
Yeah, so means in the presentation means some things we have to ask from the patient, what are symptoms.
We just have to ask from the patient about the symptomology, about the surgery, type of surgery, about the scan finding, MRI finding, the MTD plan, very, very important, very, very important. The MTD plan and everything, we have to look into the system. Then you enter the hospital number of the patient on some of the, we have some of the applications, okay, online applications from our trust site. When you enter, you have an idea about all documents. On right side or the left side, you can see all scans, findings, previous blood results, everything. But without knowing anything, you can discuss with your consultant. Your consultant will ask you everything on the phone.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anila. One thing more, this you said, if structure discussion, we will say the examiner regarding symptoms, we will ask from the patient and we will review her notes and surgery.
Yeah, that is, this is what Asya said. I will review the notes after permission. You can take the permission from the patient, but I don't think it's required. Just enter the hospital number and review the notes of the patient. But do confirm after checking the name and NHS number.
But one question, if this patient is with us, suppose patient is with not, it is not a structured discussion, then how explain these things, how we will check? We will say the patient, we will review your notes, or it will not come as a patient discussion with patient. It always comes.
You can say like, I'm going to review your notes, I'm going to check your scan findings, MRI finding. I just want to check the MTD plan from the side of endometriosis, everything.
So means these things we have to utter in front of the patient, then examiner will note us.
Yes, examiner will note. Yeah, definitely.
That thing I want to clarify, how to we will say with patient. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, Asya, do you have any questions related to information gathering? Anything? Any new thing you learned today?
I know actually this point, actually I mentioned that I will review the notes, but I can specify that pre-operatively what was the plan, endometriosis, that MDT plan. This line, yeah. I mean, this is
this is only, the only thing is, Asya, once you will call the consultant, your consultant is going to ask about the history, okay? And your consultant is going to ask from you, like, okay, what was the plan from the side of MTD? What was the previous scan finding? What was the previous CT scan or MRI finding? Okay, if you could mention in the information gathering, it's going to help you. Because you have to plan out the things. Okay,
actually,
so
when we are reading in 2 minutes and then we are explaining, then become like a little haphazard. But when we are relaxed, then we can think like I want to see what was her previous laparoscopy findings, how was it was, I mean, any complication or what were the findings. But when we are talking in 10 minutes, so it's then little
Yeah, it's
confused
difficult.
or
Okay, so
become
even Asya, you have mentioned about, I just want to check your notes after your permission is going to cover that point. No problem. But the most important thing is in post-operative notes, it's very important to check the entry technique. Why? Because if the entry is on the suprapubic side, then there's a risk of bladder injury. Entry technique, sites of port entry, extent of surgery, intraoperative complications, do check photos. In every patient file, you can see the photos. So whenever the surgeon found some of the difficulty, they take the photos as an evidence that this surgery was complicated. And the post-operative plan. Okay. Asya? Hello?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Lina.
Okay. Asya, you have explained about how to prevent the possibility of urinary tract injury really very well. Excellent. And urinary tract not only involves the ureter, it involves the bladder as well. So I was little bit asked a broad question from you, just to have an idea. Either you are taking it as a ureteric injury or the bowel injury. Okay, so this is all from the TOG article. I have made my own slide. So the prevention, how to prevent the urinary tract injury or the bladder injury, to have a better understanding of anatomy, understanding of electrosurgery and the meticulous surgical technique, avoid suprapubic insertion of various needles, insertion of secondary trocar under the direct view, keep the bladder empty during the surgery. 2 to 3 ml of dye-stained Bringal lactate can delineate both the bladder edges during difficult dissection and help to recognize the injury if it occurs. So some of the consultants do use this approach as well. When total laparoscopic hysterectomy performed, bladder should be dissected adequately off the upper part of attachment, like from the lower uterine segment, to avoid injury during the closing. So intraoperatively, Asya mentioned about involving MPD immediately. What includes in MPD? Radiologist, because maybe you need some imaging intraoperatively. If you are suspecting that there is some bladder injury, then you have to involve urologist, anesthetist, or consultant as well. Even you can call a second consultant on call. Intraoperative cystoscopy or instillation of 2 to 3 mils of colored saline, such as methylene blue or indigo caramine, into the bladder to identify the site and extent of injury. Or injury involving near the trigone can increase risk of ureteric injury. So this can be assessed cystoscopically, and even the laparoscope can pass inside the injury to assess either the ureters are involved or not. Okay, so they can be, if that injury, ureters are involved or not, can be inspected laparoscopically by inserting the laparoscope through the bladder injury. So this is a way you can recognize the intraoperative injury. So post-operatively, yes, Asya, you have mentioned about the symptoms. Who can differentiate between the bladder injury and the ureteric injury? But the important is that you have to mention about certain imaging which are available. So CT scan with contrast can confirm the presence of uroperitoneum and show defect. Retrograde cystography confirm the diagnosis, and cystoscopy will assess the injury, help to decide whether conservative management is appropriate. If fistula is suspecting, filling the bladder with dye and demonstrate vaginal leakage. An MRI can also be helpful. This is just for the information purpose. I'm not expecting Asya. Your answer was excellent in terms of patient safety, information gathering, in terms of communication. You have covered all 4 domains in your answer. This is just for the revision purpose. Okay, Asya? Hello?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Lina, because you mentioned very nicely, but I did not cover these things. But I
it's not required to cover.
But it's
All
very
important
nice.
points which are required to cover is like knowledge of anatomy, electrosurgery knowledge, meticulous surgical technique, avoid suprapubic insertion, insertion of trocar under region. These are important points. Keep bladder empty. Even you know what, by using uterine manipulator, introvert or retroverting the uterus during laparoscopy can cause diversion of the ureters away from the surgical field, can prevent the ureteric injury. Okay, but these are the important points to mention. And the most important point, if you could mention only one point, intraoperatively, if I suspect ureteric injury, I will involve MPD.
You mentioned here.
Okay, Asya? This is the most important point.
Post-operatively only investigation. We cannot
I
mention.
mentioned only. I can, because I already
hear me?
mentioned in information gathering. I mentioned about the symptomology and and investigation. Some of the initial investigations. So I haven't mentioned about these things. I only mentioned about the investigation. But you mentioned about the symptoms through which you can differentiate between the ureteric injury and the bladder injury. Okay. So this is the most important thing intraoperatively, and this is also the most important thing post-operatively as well, to involve MTD. Okay, and MTD is going to plan about the investigation, about the management plan post-operatively. I'm not expecting you to have an idea about these sort of investigation. I just want to have an idea what at the level of ST5, what we expect, what the examiner expects from the candidate. Okay, so this is about the ureteric injury. Again, the same thing, knowledge of anatomy, understanding of electrosurgery, meticulous surgical technique, how we prevent if, as for example, this patient, she is a case of endometriosis and with the history of previous surgeries and everything. So this lady needs an MRI with IVU to help the surgeon to plan a complex procedure. So this is really important. To have an MRI, it gives an idea about distortion of the pelvic anatomy, IVU, to have an idea about the ureteric pathway to prevent ureteric injury. Intra-op laparoscopic view should be used to identify ureteric crystallysis movement and locate and follow the course of ureter. I have assisted multiple laparoscopic surgeries here. So what they do is they identify the ureter, they see the movement of the ureter. Okay, and it's really, really important. If you're not being able to identify the ureter, there's a high chance the ureter can damage. In complex cases, it's mandatory to dissect and expose the ureter. So whole length, what they do is, if they're suspecting that like there's a lot of edema and distortion of pelvic anatomy, they expose all the ureter pathways, right and the left side. Ureter can be mobilized over the length of 15 centimeters, so electrosurgery should be used with caution and if possible avoid close proximity to the ureter because ureter has their own blood supply. Okay, so they mobilize the ureter and try to do cautery away from the ureter to prevent any ureteric injury. Another way is ureteric stenting. If anatomy is severely distorted, so they can use the ureteric. This is what we used to do in Pakistan. In every complex cases, we do ureteric stenting to avoid ureteric injury because we gynecologists, we are not very much confident in recognizing the ureter intraoperatively. So this is the point that I have mentioned so far. Adequate reflection of bladder of the ureter, like in anteversion of the ureter or anteversion of the uterus and the retroversion of the uterus, help to make the ureter away from the operation field. Okay, so these are the points through which you can prevent the ureteric injury. Okay, so intraoperatively, I'm not going to discuss in detail about intraoperatively and the post-operatively because I just want you people to involve MTD in intraoperatively. Okay, so other point is cystoscopy, allow the visualization of ureter, the administration of indigo calamine color which can cause a blue coloration of the urine. Also, after 5 to 10 minutes, you can visualize if there is some leaking anywhere. Or stenting without stent insertion without resistance rule out obstruction and can also resolve the kidney. So post-operatively, CT scan can evaluate hydronephrosis, urinomas, abscess. With CT, IV, urogram will locate the site of injury. Okay, so this is all about the ureteric injury. So the most important point is like how you are going to manage her. So as Asya already know that what point she has been missed so far, like inform the consultant, seek a urologist opinion. Plan management depend upon the location, extent of injury, and the status of contralateral uterus. Asya, you have asked about the site and extent of injury, but not the status of the contralateral ureter, which is very, very important. You should have an idea about the status of contralateral ureter. Preoperative preparation as advised by urology team. Duty of candor, explain the patient in an honest way what has been happened so far. If she wants to complain, she can pause. Okay. Incident reporting by adopting no blame culture but rather encourage reflection on how the outcome could be improved. So incident reporting most important, enter the case into the risk register most important, inform the risk management team most important. This is the job of SC5. If they see such lady with ureteric injury, with bowel injury, with bladder injury, this is their job. Important to start antibiotic. Mechanical thromboprophylaxis is very important. Chase the blood results. Give IV fluid with proper fluid balance chart because this patient is having oliguria. So it's really important to have a proper fluid balance chart. Okay, the risk management, I have explained this step so far. So this picture I have taken from the TOG article. I'm not expecting you all to have an idea how to do that, which instruments are using, what is a surgical technique. This is not your job at all. This is not your job. This is what expect from SC5 in case of every injury, in case of bowel injury, bladder injury, in case of ureteric injury, in case of any vascular injury. The answer is same. Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Asma. Thank you, Mahi. Okay, so Asya, do you have any questions? I know you already know what you have been with so far, and I expect you are not going to do it again. This is what you are going to do in case of simulated patient task. You have to say, okay, I'm going to inform the consultant, I'm going to discuss with the urologist, so we can make a plan, and we are going to follow the orders from the side of urologist. Okay, I'm going to give you IV fluid, make a proper fluid balance chart, IV antibiotics, after ruling out all allergies and contraindications. Okay, and don't worry about that. We are here to support you all. Okay, I'm going to enter the risk into the risk register. So risk management team is going to find out why this happened with you and will get back to you and communicate with you once the results will come back. Asya, are you there? Hello, Asya.
Yes, Dr. Lina. Because last question you asked about risk management, so I will tell in detail which I answer. Or
no. Just your
answer
was
last slide.
excellent. There's no need. No. This is the last slide. Okay, so this is what Asya you have explained. I'm not expecting it. Okay. Okay, so the last question, the risk management, how you are going to do that. There's no need to go into the depth because maybe you will have only 1 minute or 1.5 minutes for that answer. So you just have to explain a little bit about the steps. So your answer was excellent, Asya. So the first step is the risk identification, and the risk identification is by incident reporting form. From the either the risk was entered into the risk register or not, either it was notified to the risk management team or not, and either from the complaint raised. After that, risk analysis can be done like decision to investigate as soon as practically possible before memory stayed away. Select a member of team. You have explained everything, Asya. It can be done by the root cause analysis, by fishbone model, by dirty dozen model, but collecting the data. The data is same, like collecting the history, investigation, examination, findings, everything, preoperative data, intraoperative data, postoperative data, that's it. Determine the chronology of the events. Make a timeline of the sequence of events, view of the patient post-operative notes, competency of surgeons, complexity of the procedure, interviewing staff, and adopting no blame policy. There's no need to go into the depth. This is not task related to all tasks related to just risk management. They're just going to ask, I just ask about the steps of the risk management. Risk evaluation, identify weakness and contributing factors. It's just like an audit. Like identify care delivery problem, unsafe act, failure to act, patient factors. Maybe this was a complex patient. Maybe there's a lot of comorbidity, a lot of ideas. Maybe we were already suspecting that they can be a ureteric or bladder injury. Complexity of the procedure. Human factor. The doctor who attended had fatigue, general health problems, stress, overload, distraction. NHS do consider these factors. Team and social factors. Roles not clarified, who is responsible, communication factor, things were not communicated, the surgeons were called, the urologist was called, but no one answered the phone, no one attended, the surgeons wait for a long time, no one attended to manage that, to help in the surgery. Task factor, education, training factor, maybe the surgeon was not well trained to deal with such complication, lack of experience, deficiency of training, equipment problems, resource factors. Maybe the instruments which were available for the laparoscopy were not they were not working properly, and they were faulty. Environmental factors, staff exhausted in the working condition, not good, heavy workload, lot of sick leaves, long operative list, most important. Risk treatment, I say you have explained about play the role of duty of control in an honest way, risk modification by device and action plan, arrange teaching session on the prevention of ureteric injury, arrange a case-based discussion, display the protocol or discuss the protocol, denying gynae meeting, change in practice, take approval and should document. Risk control, sharing and learning from the lesson by safety alert, newsletter, internet, educational meetings, monitor these implications by regular reviews or by audit. Okay, so this is all about task of ureteric injury. Thank
Dr.
you,
Leena, this all
everyone.
detail,
Thank you.
yeah, Dr. Leena, this all detail, if it will come as only risk management case, then we will go in detail. Otherwise, only just
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can mention
yeah.
the
Otherwise, just
heading.
headings. Asya, just headings, just
Yeah.
heading. And this is, you already know this is a general template. This is all the general template of the risk management. You just have to explain about the headings.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no need to go into that. And they are not expecting you to go into the risk management because this task is not related to the risk management. This is all related to the ureteric injury, okay? Okay, so this is all from my side. Thank you. Asya, any
Okay,
questions?
thank
Any
you, Dr.
questions from?
Leena. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Zaid.
Hi, Dr. Alima. It's nice
Yeah.
presentation. So just
Oh,
like
thank you.
simple things only that which an early warning sign you explain that if it is less than 6 score, then we will continue the monitoring. So can you explain a little bit more about the early warnings and how you monitor according to the score?
I have one slide, but it's not in this presentation. I think I have attached it, but I have not explained. Just 1 second. I will show you. Yes. I
Just
think I have
with
attached
few
one
lines
slide.
only to give idea.
No. I have attached one picture, just one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is not this is a news chart. The one which I have discussed is the news chart. So there's a difference. Okay.
Yeah.
The news chart is the obstetric early warning score chart, and the news is basically the national early warning score chart. So there's a difference, but the protocol is the same. Okay, so this is what I've taken from one of the NHS leaflet. So I also have a simplified one. I think this one. Okay, so if 1 yellow alert, repeat observation in 30 minutes. If 2 yellow alerts or 1 red alert, call the obstetrician and repeat observation in 30 minutes. Okay, if 2 yellow alert or more than 2 red alerts, okay, more than 2 red alert means more than 4. Okay, immediate review by obstetrician, repeat observation in 15 minutes or continuous monitoring. So the score for this lady was more than 6. Okay, so it means this lady required an admission in ITU or HTU, and she required a continuous monitoring. Okay, Selma? Have you get my point? Does it make some sense?
Yes. So
Okay.
that means that within if 1 yellow, so in a minute, repeat observation. And but
yeah,
if
2 yellow or 2 red alert, immediate review by obstetrician and repeat observation in 15 minutes. But this lady, it's not just 4, it's 6. So she required continuous monitoring.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. Zaid, it's your turn. Another task.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was quite informative for me as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Leena, for putting so much, beautiful effort, in fact. And the slides,
Thank
amazing.
you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we have to do another session, and I really want a volunteer. So who wants to present with me? Okay. So first come, first serve. Pradnya, come over. Okay. So I will share my screen and then I will set the timer for you. All right. So just let me start the timer. Can you see the screen? No, I guess.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.